Welcome back to another match preview as there is only 2 games left to go, and Forest will host Chelsea at the City Ground at, it's 5:30, isn't it, this weekend, Charlie?
Yeah,
5:30.
5:30.
5:30. Please don't forget, hit the like, subscribe, and make sure as well you show our boy Charlie some love. His YouTube channel link is in the title, so all you got to do is click that, and let's get into this. Charlie, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Chelsea are starting to play some decent football. Maybe it's a little bit too little, too late. Who knows? But we've got 3 games left. Hopefully that can continue, and maybe we can get that top 6 finish. But yeah, I'm good, mate. Pleasure to be back on as always. And yeah, I'm looking forward to heading up to the City Ground. It's always an enjoyable day out.
Well, yeah, I don't know for us, mate. It's
Maybe not for you, but I enjoy going there.
Oh no, yeah, the City Ground. You can't beat the experience of the City Ground. I'm just talking about the situation. I'll tell you what's weird, right? I care more about the West Ham Luton game this weekend than the Forest Chelsea game, because if Luton lose, then I'm really gonna enjoy this match. And honestly, I don't really care if you win. As long as Luton lose, we're safe. And technically Burnley, but they're a little further behind. So yeah, it's a weird one, man. I'll have my eyes at 3 o'clock at the West Ham game, but in a way, we've got a little advantage on. I don't know. Is it an advantage to play second or first? You never know these days. But yeah, so maybe you guys should be wishing for a West Ham win, and we're just gonna have a beach party atmosphere at the City Ground.
Is it your last home game of the season?
Yeah, we're away to Burnley next weekend. So
regardless of the situation, surely you want to give a fan, give the fans a win to go into the summer with at home.
It would be nice, yeah, but offer me safety for. I mean, if we win, we're safe. Whatever. That's the scenario. But we could be safe pre-match. There's so many permutations on how it could go down. What happens if they draw? Blah blah blah. We just got to match Luton basically. If they draw and we draw, we're safe. So yeah, but anyway, mate. Anyway, it's good to have you back on. It's good to have you back on. I got to start with this question first. How does it feel to be one of only 3 teams not to have beaten Forest since we've got back in the Premier League?
Yeah, that I didn't really realize it was that few. Of course, you beat us at the Bridge last season, and then obviously we had the 1-1 draw at the City Ground, and then I forgot. It seems like a lifetime ago when you beat us earlier on in the season at the Bridge 1-0. Yeah, I guess that was deserved, and yeah, it's a strange one, really. I didn't really pay too much attention to our record against Forest, but yeah, it's not great, to be perfectly honest. As I said, no wins in our 3 games so far since you've come back up. So yeah, we need to get that sorted ASAP, because we can't let that carry on.
It again depends on what West Ham do. Honestly, it depends on what West Ham do. But look, I wanted to just touch on Chelsea because I've been watching your channel. I've been watching what you lot have been saying all season. There's been an element of fed up. There's been a lot of Pochettino out. Obviously not from yourself. You're more level-headed on these things, but it's been a weird season yet again. I remember when we caught up when we were doing that filming last year, you were like, bring on next season. Everything's going to be okay. Da, 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 da. And then most of the season's been a bit of a repeat of last year. However, I have been impressed with you guys pretty much since probably the Man U game, really. I know it was a bit of a crazy game and what have you. But I just think there's been tactical changes, which I did in my preview the other day. I think everyone's going on about Cole Palmer. We get it. He's great, yeah. But I don't think Cucurella's getting the praise he deserves, because that's been an interesting tactical switch from Pochettino. And I think that's kind of solidified up your midfield a bit, mate.
Yeah, no, it has. Of course, a lot of Chelsea fans seem to think that this improvement's just down to the last 2.5 games. Look, the second half against Villa and the game against Spurs and West Ham have been brilliant. But having said that, in the form table for this calendar year, only Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City have taken more points than us in the Premier League. So, we have improved. There are signs of improvement. Yes, there's been some disappointing results in there, the draws against Burnley and Sheffield United and whatnot, which would have us in the top 6 if we'd seen those games out like we should have done. But there are positive signs. But in regards to the Villa game, you know, that's where we saw the tactical switch at half time. Obviously, we're 2-0 down. It was off the back of that 5-0 smashing at the Emirates. And I'm thinking in Villa Park at half time, yeah, we're banging trouble here. And he makes a little switch, inverts Cucurella into midfield when we're in possession, an extra man in there. So you've almost got like a 3-2-2-3 build up. Yeah. And it made a massive difference. You know, it's what we'd seen in pre-season, and then it was kind of abandoned for pretty much the whole season. And then it's kind of come back. I almost liken it slightly to when we lost under Antonio Conte at the Emirates, and Conte then just switched to a back three, and we just went on a run and we won the league. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but it feels like a similar sort of potential
light bulb moment,
potential watershed moment for us, where you're like, shit, you know, we've inverted Cucurella and suddenly like things look a lot better. We are playing a lot better. Caicedo's got an extra person alongside him in midfield, so that he doesn't have to worry too much behind him defensively. And yeah, Cucurella has kind of been a revelation. I think, you know, certainly from Chelsea fans, he's getting praise, but it's certainly from, you know, the wider footballing community, I think there needs to be a little bit more appreciation shown to how well he's played. I don't want to get carried away because it's been 2.5 games. He's had some decent performances this season outside of that, but in general, you know, I'm reticent to, you know, big up a player after just 2.5 games, but he looks like someone that's completely transformed in this new role. And you can maybe see why Pep Guardiola wanted to sign him for Man City if that's if that's how he was planning to use him in that inverted role. So look, delighted with that. Delighted with the seemingly late season resurgence. I was just kind of, I don't say disappointed. I'm just like not quite sure why it's taken so long for that to be implemented.
Yeah, but it's like Poch has come in. He's basically been babysitting 600 kids. It's gonna take time. I think there's been a lot. Just touching on the manager, there has been a lot of Poch out through many patches this season. How do you see him in terms of the project, or you know, trust the process, all that usual bollocks you hear? But
to be fair, mate, like I think he's done all right. You know, I've been through various kind of ups and downs this season with him. There's times where I've looked when I've been at games and I've looked at him in patches this season. And I've just thought, I just can't see how you're going to be here next season. But then I see things like, you know, the last 2.5 games. You know, the form from the turn of the year, despite the disappointing results that I referenced. And I think actually, do you know what? There is something there. We're playing reasonably well with multiple injuries. You know, we've had 54 injuries this season, which is a league high, and those injuries have missed a total of 309 games, which is also a league high. So look, I get it, everyone has injuries, but the extent we've had them is ridiculous, and it has made a big difference in terms of not having Reece James played 9 times this season. Lavia played 30 minutes, a big summer signing. Wesley Fofana's not been available all season. Christopher Nkunku has hardly kicked a ball for us, and that's kind of just scratching the surface. So I think, given the hand that he's been dealt, not having key players available for large parts of the season, I think he's done okay. You know, look, do we want to be fighting?
What were your expectations at the start of the season? It's got to have been top 4.
I'll be honest, mate. I think a lot of Chelsea fans' expectations are probably unrealistic because you get carried away with the transfer window hype. I honestly, I'm look back at things I said at the start of the season, and I remember saying that if we signed Caicedo, we'd finish in the top 4. That looks, I mean, that's a little. That looks, I would say, looks stupid, but I was obviously a bit wide of the mark now. It's not, it weren't a million miles off, but I think you just get a little bit carried away as fans when you see those signings coming through the door. And you think that automatically going to hit the ground running, and that equates to success. You know, we've had such a high turnover of players, so many new players coming in, and unfortunately, it's really boring, and people don't like hearing it. It takes time to gel that together and build an understanding and build a cohesive team unit. And so, I think what we're seeing now is a team that, from the start of the season, has massively matured, is making better decisions, is playing better. And there are some positive signs. And I look at it and I just think, you know, we're 2 years in pretty much under this ownership come the end of May. And if they're making another change, that's like 4 managers in 2 years, and it's just going absolutely nowhere. So
Yeah, but you've changed plenty of managers in the years and won titles and things. The Abramovich way, you know.
Yeah, but different times. You know, the squad was ready to win then, so it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter who you dropped in, as long as you had a half competent manager. We knew that because we had the players to win, we'd be all right. I think now, you know, the football age has changed. I think a lot of modern day players need a bit of an arm around the shoulder kind of treatment. And Poch, you know, despite his tactical limitations, which he has shown this season, I think he's very good man manager for these younger players. And a lot of the guys, you know, look, and they don't have to say this. I mean, whenever I bring this up with Chelsea fans, they're like, oh, you know, they're told to say that. No, they're not told to say anything. You know, you don't have to praise your manager if you don't want to. You know, I think that the players enjoy working with him. And I think for me, whether he stays beyond the end of his contract, which expires at the end of next season, is neither here nor there right now. I think for Chelsea, we need stability, we need continuity. And given the options that are available, for me, it doesn't make any sense to make a change.
There's a couple of things, like, just to pick up on. You're talking about Caicedo. He has been woeful most of this season. But I know you're shaking your head, but he's been really good the last few games. And I almost think in a weird way you've benefited by Enzo getting injured. I just think it's kind of helped him personally from an outsider looking in, because it's rebalanced and you've seen Cucurella invert in. But, you know, I thought he would have done better having already played in the Premier League. And that pass he did against Man United the other week was just woeful, man. But he has been improving. He has been improving.
Yeah, look, he had a slow start. Of course, you know, he missed the entire pre-season due to the ridiculously drawn out transfer saga. I think quietly since the turn of the year, you know, his performances have massively improved. And I think, you know, Chelsea fans have noticed that. And I think it's been alerted to sort of the wider footballing community, as it were. Certainly over the last few games that he has massively improved, and he's starting to show the player that he is. You know, look, yes, it's the same league, but he has only had one season in the Premier League. I think that the guy hadn't even played 50 games. I think he just about maybe touched 50 games for Brighton. He's still 22 years of age. You know, he's still very, like, relatively inexperienced in terms of footballing, you know, in terms of how much he's played. And, yeah, he's growing into things at the moment. Do I think, you know, that is there a better player in there than we've seen so far? Absolutely, there is. He's definitely benefited from having Cucurella, you know, in that midfield to provide a bit more support from another option for a pass and whatnot. And in regards to Enzo Fernandez, you know, he's had moments this season. You know, he's been playing for 6 months with this hernia issue, having injections before games, which is obviously not helped his performance levels whatsoever. He's gone for the surgery now, and hopefully he'll be back next season, you know, fit and raring to go. I don't look at it as a, you know, oh, Chelsea are playing better because Enzo's not here sort of thing. I just more look at it as, you know, we stumbled across a way that suits the team better. And you know, Enzo Fernandez is our best midfield player in terms of his passing range. You know, in terms of the way that he can dictate a game. So, you know, you slot him into that system potentially, and there's definitely a lot of promise there. But look, there's still a few pieces of the jigsaw that need to be added. There's still a few things that need to be balanced out. But, you know, again, this is a big if. But if we continue playing this way next season, if we can get key players back and add in the right areas, then I think, you know, you could potentially see the narrative surrounding Chelsea massively change next season.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you would finish at least top 4 this season, because I remember when we spoke at the start of the season, because we played you only a couple of games in. And Cuckoo, for me, is a quality player. And in a way, I would have liked him to have been fair. I just enjoy watching him play football. I think he's quality. On the other side of the fence, though, that Jackson guy, bro, he is not a striker. And I know you're going to give me all the stats to defend him and how he's done better. He is not a striker, man. I think he's more a winger than a striker.
I mean, look, for me, look, he was a wide player at Villarreal. He's come in. I think for a first season, for someone that's cost 30 million quid to have 13 Premier League goals, 16 in all comps, I think he's done a good job. Yes, he's missed a lot of chances, 100%.
He's missed sitters, though, man.
Yeah,
sitters.
He's missed a lot of chances. And, you know, he's admitted himself that he should have more goals. But I think expectation versus reality here, did we really, what were we expecting from a 30 million pound signing from Villarreal in his 3rd season of senior football to come and do in his 1st season at Chelsea? And I think he's massively exceeded expectations. His play outside the box is very good. Inside the box, where obviously we want him to do the business, needs work on 100%. But his link-up play is very good. His hold-up play is good. The way that he stretches the opposition with his pace, he creates chances for the team. I like him, but of course, there's a lot of room for improvement. But I think as far as the first season goes, with the money that's been spent on him, and I just find that the narrative that surrounds him compared to someone like Rasmus Højlund is strange. You know, he's had a way better.
Don't worry, I think he's crap.
Yeah, he's had a way better season than Højlund. He cost more than half what Højlund cost, and there's not the same conversation. You know, there's not the same narrative around Højlund. He's got more goals than Kai Havertz, who apparently is reborn under Mikel Arteta. Yet Jackson is apparently someone that's not that good. So look, of course, I'm going to stick up for my own players, but I think generally speaking, like Jackson has done a lot better than people think. Yes, he will miss a lot of chances. Yes, he will be frustrating, but I think all the ingredients are there for him to be a good player.
I think you got your goggles on, your Chelsea goggles on there. And I know what the comments are going to say now. Stop jinxing it. He's going to get a hat trick against Forest. If West Ham win, I don't care. Right? But okay, I gotta ask you something that's bugging me. Okay, we've obviously had our PSR issues, Forest, Everton, etc. You lot and your boys, Man City, are getting away with goddamn murder. All right, don't you start shaking your head.
I don't know. I don't know what we haven't been charged with anything. You know, they're looking into.
What's this hotel crap, man? What's this hotel crap you're selling to yourselves?
Yeah, look, I don't know too much about that. I know
convenient.
I tend to stick to the football. I mean, I don't want to come in here. I don't want to come in here and pretend I'm some sort of accountant and financial expert or anything. I think in regards to that, you know, they sold themselves a couple of hotels, which is within the rules, by the way, because the rules are seemingly quite flexible. So I think it's more a Premier League issue than say a Chelsea issue, or a Man City's different. They've been charged and whatnot. I think the Premier League is still doing their due diligence on the hotel thing. I've not really seen or heard too much on that. And ultimately, you know, we haven't been charged with anything. You know, I 100% know that there were dodgy dealings under Roman. No one's adverse to that. We know that. We know that was the case. To what extent, it's unsure yet. And if we get charged with something and we're proven guilty, then we'll take the punishment as is fair. But in regards to the PSR stuff for kind of this season and whatnot, by all accounts, you know, Chelsea fully believe they're cooperating. They're going to cooperate with the rules and comply with them. And so, you know, without being a financial expert, I've got to put my trust in the people in charge and let the process do its thing.
You saying it with a smile, mate. You know there's brown envelopes going to be passed around. Freaking selling your own hotels to yourself. I can't get my head around that one. But
outside the box thinking.
Yeah, 8-year contracts and all that. Yeah, just find the loopholes. Keep finding those loopholes. All right, let's have a look at the game, mate. What are your thoughts on it? And what have you been thinking about Forest this year?
I think I'd say a little bit disappointed. Just for me. not from a case of, you know, I'm losing sleep over Forest being near the bottom of the table. What I mean by that is, I would have thought with the players that had come in this summer, I would have thought there would have been a little bit of a kick on from last season. I think, you know, when you come up, your number one priority in your first season, just stay up. And then second season, you maybe look to push on a little bit. I know the second season can be a lot more difficult, and a lot of teams that have first seasons then tend to really struggle in the second season. I know that you've obviously been docked points, which has put you, you know, more into the relegation battle. But I would have thought with the players you've got, the likes of your Gibbs Whites, I know Awoniyi's been injured for parts of the season. Hudson-Odoi, well, you got Ola Aina, Sangare, who there was a lot of rave reviews about. I don't think's been that great this season. You know, I would have thought the players available, you would have done a little bit better. I perhaps would have expected there to be a bit more of a bounce from Nuno coming in. I've not been particularly impressed with the work that he's done. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but you'd expect to see some instances of progress. And look, I don't follow Forest as closely as you do, but I just get the feeling that it's been a bit of a I don't want to say a nothing season, but it almost feels like the season has never really got started.
I think that's a good summary, mate, to be honest. It's like end the season is what I'm saying, yeah. But our boy Callum Hudson-Odoi, thank you. That was a hell of a deal.
3 million.
Yeah. I mean, what were you thinking? He's been good.
Yeah, he's been good. He's a good player. You know, he's scored 2 good goals against Sheffield United. I know it's typical, you know, former Chelsea players do have a habit of scoring against us. I mean, Kai Havertz got 2 against us. So I mean, I don't know what Hudson-Odoi's got planned for this weekend, but
I can tell you because he always cuts in and he finesses his shot from the edge of the box. Are your boys going to let him do that? You know,
that's the thing, though. Like with a lot of these players, you know what they're going to do, but you know, still, so many times defenders just can't stop it. But yeah, look, I think I've been I'd say I've been underwhelmed by Forest. Look, I wasn't expecting you to be like top half of the table, but I would have expected you to sort of be. I would have expected you to be within that sort of 11th to 14th area. And I think you've got the players to do that. But I just think, you know, I think too many have underperformed and the manager hasn't really got enough out of them so far.
Fair assessment. So looking at this game, Charlie, you're coming here with your chest out. I can see it from here, yeah. You confident?
More confident than I would have been than I would have been, say, 10 or 12 days ago.
What you been like on the road? Have you been finding form on the
road's not been great this season. I'll be real. It has been tough. I mean, look, we've obviously won some games away, of course we have, but yeah, the away form has been nowhere near as good as the home form. I think our last 2 away games have both been 2-2. I think Sheffield United and Villa. We're not amazing on the road. And look, any away game in the Premier League is tough. You know, it doesn't matter what ground you're going to. Away games are tough.
Forest, Sheffield United. Oh well, you didn't. Okay, fair enough.
We didn't. We did score 2 though. But we just conceded 2. Yeah, it's going to be tough. You know, last home game of the season, Forest want to give their fans a send off. Depending, as you mentioned, on the Luton result, you may really need something from this game. It's gonna be tough. You know, it's going to be a big atmosphere there. And we're going to have to be at our best to get the result. And that's kind of the reality of the situation. If we're like 1% off or whatever, then it could be a really tough afternoon. You know, you have got players that can cause issues. But again, it depends, are they going to turn up? But, you know, we can't turn up thinking this is going to be an easy game and the job's done, because if you turn up thinking like that in the Premier League, it's going to be game over for you.
So what are you saying score-wise?
I think we'll score because we're scoring a lot of goals at the moment. We create a lot of chances. I'm just more concerned about us at the other end. Yes, we've registered back-to-back clean sheets. So we have shipped a club record amount of goals in the Premier League this season. Awoniyi, if he's back, seems to always score against Chelsea for some reason. I don't know why. You've got decent players. I think this will be closer than people think. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Chelsea win.
Ooh, okay. He's confident. I think it's going to be a draw. I hope that will be enough for us. I just think there's score draw. Yeah, I agree with you on Taiwo. He's either scored or assisted in every game against you, and he should be back. I'd drop Chris Wood for him just because Taiwo against Chelsea seems to work. I just feel we got a little bit of a voodoo on you guys, but I do feel it'll be a draw. I don't think we'll win it, but hopefully a draw is more than we need, and it will relegate Luton, which will be so funny because they need to go. I can't stand them, man. Listen, Charlie, it's been a pleasure, mate, as always. Guys, make sure you go and subscribe to Blue Brother. The link is in the description. In the title. So make sure you click that. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And we'll see you on the next video. Charlie, you're a legend. Appreciate it, bro.
No, pleasure as always, mate. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Come on, you Reds.